Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second Best of 2024 video. We're going to be doing these all month long on the channel, every single weekend. Last weekend, we did our first Best of 2024 episode, and that was single issues. So we did our top 10 single issues of the year.
As well as a smattering of honorable mentions.
Yes, very, very true. This week, we're going to be talking about our top 10 series of 2024. But quickly, we're going to be doing writers next week and artists the fourth week. So stay tuned for those if you're interested. But yeah, we're pretty much going to get into it here. This time we are going to keep the honorable mentions a little bit tighter. We have an actual spot in the video for them.
Yes.
And we'll get there at some point. But yeah, other than that, we're going to basically...
give you an idea of what a series counts for. It didn't have to be entirely in 2024. As long as there were at least 2 issues in 2024, it counted. Though, if there are only 2, you're only counting the stuff that's in 2024.
Yeah, like that's the important bit is while, yes, the series can still count even if all its issues were in 2024, we're not judging based off of issues that came in other years.
Which does make it tricky for gap bridging there, but you know,
it's very much personal, like how you decided to make it score out. But yeah, at least
and
2
also
issues.
Importantly, if you're choosing something from an ongoing, you're choosing including all of the issues from that year.
Or a volume, or there's no personal cutoff here. If you're grabbing something, you are grabbing whatever came out in 2024.
That's right. And just like with the previous episode with issues, this is accounting for stuff that we reviewed on the podcast. So Jay and I obviously read stuff outside of that. Honestly, not much these days. We just cover everything on the podcast nowadays.
Still no Last Ronin though. My lists are very Last Ronin lists this year, which is a little sad to me.
Which is tragic. But yeah, so we're talking specifically about stuff that we covered on the pod. So
that will be broken slightly for the writer artist list in the sense
it'll be tweaked slightly for the writer artist. But that means that if you see us geeking out about a series and want to hear more about it, you've got the content to go see what it's all about. So be sure to check out the issues of our podcast where those
and even some interviews with members of certain creative teams. At least from our first video, we have interviews with some of the creators that ended up on.
This is him trying to cover his tracks. He's like,
no. Without saying too much, I might say that it might actually be the opposite of that, where I immediately went, wait, do I have any with this one? I don't know. We do have some interviews that you can check out too. But in any case, before we keep blabbering too much at the top, let's get into this. The way this is going to work, if you didn't watch the last video, is we have this slideshow right here. Boom. Katie's going to be posting things on the right side of the slideshow. I'll be posting things on the left side of the slideshow. And that's how we're kind of going to, announce our picks and our books. We'll tell you how many issues came out in the year, what those issues were, so you know specifically what we're talking about. And then we'll tell you why it is where it is. Do you want? I think last time I started and you fit. I don't remember exactly where.
I believe so. I believe so.
So you should start this one off, and we do essentially like a snake thing where Katie will do number 10, then I'll do number 10, and then I'll do my number 9, and then Katie will do her number 9, and then boom, boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom.
Go, Katie.
Boom. My number 10 series
from Boom.
The best
you said Boom.
Of
is it Boom? Is it Boom?
Is
from Boom
not.
Publishing?
I believe it's from Mad Cave. It is from Mad Cave. It is Morning Star. From writers D.B. Andrew and Tim Daniel and the artist Marco Finnegan. This is a series that had a whole lot of like atmosphere in it, which was so huge. It had a whole lot of like kind of what the fuck in it, which was great because it fit that atmosphere so well. The entire creative team was so passionate about this book, and this is one of those ones where we did interview the creators. So we really got a first-hand account of how excited the entire team was to be working on this book.
And this was a 5-issue mini, right? That all came out in the year.
So issues 1 through 5 came out in 2024. The whole
enchilada.
Absolutely. But Jay, what is your number 10?
My number 10, as I go here.
He's so unprepared.
No, I'm not unprepared. I just have to I have to copy the thing. That's how it goes.
He
My
didn't
number 10.
copy it ahead of time.
My number 10 is Our Bones Dust by Ben Stenbeck.
Phenomenal.
This 3 issues out of this 4-issue mini came out in 2024, issues 2 through 4. So that I think is one of the reasons that it kind of was as low as 10. It's missing one of the issues out of this year. I think 3 issues is, not to spoil, that's the least amount of issues anything on my list had this year. Everything has at least 3 issues that I have chosen. I didn't end up going with anything that only did 2. This book was super, super freaking rad. I love, post-apocalyptic stuff, and the way that Addis kind of played into that with the sci-fi element was just a really cool new thing. It was a very quiet book that, no captions really or anything like that. It was mostly little bits of dialogue here and there. It had a lot of heart. And it had a really great conclusion, though I really do want another volume based on that, but that doesn't seem to be the plan. So
but that's okay. Sad. It's a phenomenal artifact for what it is. And like you said, with the quietness of it, this is one of those books where we couldn't stop talking about how important or how what a boon it is to be a writer-artist where you control so much of what's happening on the page. The amount of storytelling that happens.
Yeah, I don't know if I really had any writer-artists on my best issues, except if you count Daniel Warren Johnson, which maybe you should for the Moon is Following Us issue that made it onto that, because he did draw most of that issue. But yeah, so this is a little bit of a changing of pace as I go the Katie route to start off here with the writer-artist of Ben Stenbeck. But
wonderful.
We're gonna jump to number 9 here, and it's gonna be me once more, as I once again have to copy my thing, and Katie's gonna, be annoyed.
I'll just make fun of you a little bit.
Coming in at number 9 is gonna be Ultimate Spider-Man.
It's so good.
This is the only book on my list that went all 12 months out of the year, full 12 issues. So the creative team on this book is, of course, Jonathan Hickman, Marco Cicchetto, and David Messina. This was a great series all throughout the year. It has, because it went 12 issues, it gets to have highs and lows, which kind of is another reason that it's as low as 9. But it was really, really great. It really is building toward things. It's got that good ongoing feeling, which is such a nice thing. Beautiful artwork as well, and it was constantly something that I think I was looking forward to every month, and we were excited to talk about. So that's really what you want out of a series. So it comes in at number 9.
Truly phenomenal. Phenomenal team, phenomenal series. My number 9 is Prairie Gods. This is one that's kind of on the opposite end of Our Bones Dust, where only 3 issues have come out, but that's because it's going on into 2025. This is coming to us from Shane Connery-Volk, writer-artist. So I was right behind you in terms of putting a writer-artist on my list. I feel like this series is really just right up my alley in such a perfect way. The anthology format is really engaging to me. I love the idea of getting something new every month. And I think that Shane Connery-Volk is incredibly talented. The art is really great, and it's a style of art that I really, really like. And the vibes of it, because it's a book that's really the connective tissue between the anthology stories, are the vibes.
And the town, kind of.
And the town, the region. But yeah, the vibes, impeccable. Love it.
Yeah. It's a very good series. It's very much up your alley.
It is.
And I thought that 3rd issue was phenomenal. It was one of the ones that couldn't quite crack my top 10 list, but it was one that I was a little sad to leave out. But, in any case, you're gonna have to keep us rolling here. Give us your number 8, Kate.
Because I have my number 8 already.
I have mine ready now too. There you go.
My number 8 is...
Is that the same slot it got for the single issue? Or was... It was 7. It was 7. It was 7.
I think it was 7. This is Heartpiercer from Rich Duck and Gavin Smith. Such a cool series. All 4 issues came out in 2024. Amazing art. Such great character work for Attica. Attila. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tall.
I got Addis from Our Bones
Dust. I was like, we were just talking about Addis. I'm like, that's wrong. That sounds too much like Addis.
Her character work so amazing. Gavin Smith's art absolutely bonkers. Especially we talked ad nauseum about. I believe Heartpiercer #4 was the only book to appear on both of our
Yes,
top
that is
10
correct.
lists. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had other shared series, but #4 of Heartpiercer, the conclusion.
I think only Rook
really
Exodus
phenomenal.
was the other shared
That may be
series.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Heartpiercer, great series, great.
Oh, the Moon is. Did you have the Moon is following us #1 on your list?
I did
can't
not
remember.
actually.
No, it was one of your honorable mentions that wasn't. I feel like you mentioned it. Yeah,
It was.
Okay.
But yeah, Heartpiercer is coming in at my #8 spot.
Yeah. Okay. Coming in at my #8, I'm gonna do the same thing that you did with the last one, to do another reversal of my thing with a book that only has had the first 3 issues come out this year. It's gonna be The Body Trade from
Body Trade
Cave Studios. This is from writer Zach Thompson and artist Jacques. This is so up my alley. I love Jacques' artwork just to start, and like anything that Jacques is drawing is just incredible and exciting. But this is so, for me, it's a revenge story. I love a good revenge story, and this has more nuance to it than a traditional revenge story, with our main character kind of
funky,
not being fully justified, and actually us questioning if he's even like correct or sane for like a lot of it. It's got this great vibe and excitement behind it, and while only the first 3 issues have come out so far, again, one of the reasons that it maybe is where it is right now, I am genuinely constantly excited about this series. It's one of those things where I think right now we're in a gap month, and I think it's coming back this month. But like once we go a little bit and the issue hasn't come out, I'm like looking. I'm like, when does the next issue come out? Like I feel like we're due for a Body Trade issue. So yeah, I love this. I love this series so much. It's
phenomenal. Yeah, it's really, really good. Jack is so talented. I love the way that, like you said, the main character. I totally am blanking on his name. I feel like, is it like Shelby or something?
Something like that.
Yeah. His moral ambiguity is so strong. And in revenge stories, I feel like it's so often the thing where, like, you can have a quote-unquote morally ambiguous character, because it's like they're killing a bunch of people, whatever.
Yeah, so, the initial reason is, like, somewhat justifiable. It's just, did they go too far? For him, we don't know if he has any right to do, like, anything at all, which is,
or if he is, truly responsible for his son's death, which is so fucked. Yeah, and he's not like a cool Keanu Reeves type. He's like, with all the love in my heart, a bumbling fool. Like, he is getting out of every encounter by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah.
No, are you ready for your #7?
Yes. We're gonna be going to my #7 here. We have another one that's continuing out of this year, but has somewhat recently started a little bit more. We've got 4 issues so far of The Moon is Following Us. I have utterly loved this series so far. This is one that, with that very first issue, captured me, and I was ready to go. This is by the way, Daniel Warren Johnson and Riley Rossmo. They're so talented. It's such a cool concept. Like, I think I said when we first started reviewing this book, like, you hear sometimes like every concept's already been done and you just like trying to do it in a new way. This is
this one's very fresh.
There's something that is said that sometimes you can genuinely stumble upon something that's incredibly unique. And when beyond that, it's done incredibly well because you have a creative team with like superstar talent that's just phenomenal. It just makes something really, really special. So this is going to go into 2025 further than it started in 2024. So I'm incredibly excited. But 4 issues is a very good chunk. So I felt very good about rating this highly. And it landed at my #7 spot for 2024. But Katie, it's your turn now, and I can shut up.
My turn. And it's going to be a familiar face here, because I also chose Arbone's Dust from my list. Coming in at #7, I've got Arbone's Dust. We talked about it just a few slides ago at the #10 slot for Jay. We predicted that we were going to have more crossover on series than we did on
I thought you were about to say the same book, and I was just going to be like, then you're just supposed to delete the line and move it to the... And because you said also, but this was...
a familiar face, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Arbone's Dust, so good, so great. Really, I think that one is another one that has like phenomenal atmosphere. I won't talk too long about it because we did, in fact, already talk about it. So if we want to jump ahead, I'll give us my number 6.
Yeah, tell us what your number 6 is here, Katie.
Which I am rushing right into because my number 6 is The Moon Is Following Us.
No, we were so close. We were so close.
You're so close.
Actually, just having the line deleted there.
That is ridiculous. One thing that I think is incredibly cool and unique about this book that really makes it stand out, again, even though it's, we're only 4 issues in and the rest of it's still coming, is the fact that Rossmo and Daniel Warren Johnson will switch off who's doing the art with the two different kind of the real world and the dream world. And I think that marriage is so perfect. Like the way that Riley Rossmo's kind of really funky style mixes with Daniel Warren Johnson's kind of like gritty style. It works super duper well on a storytelling level, and just visually is gorgeous all the way through the book. The Moon Is Following Us is really freaking good.
It's really freaking good. It's fantastic. I wasn't sure if we would see it on your list. I was expecting to see Bones Dust on your list. This was one that I was unsure if it was going to crack your list, so I am very, very happy to see it as high up as number 6.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where my adoration of The Moon Is Following Us is a little overshadowed by yours because you like it, because you're such a Daniel Warren Johnson boy. Oftentimes when we're talking about the book, you'll get very excited, which is so fair because it's super good.
It's super good.
But yeah, I too love it, and I wouldn't. I think it's funny. It's not that much higher than yours. We're one step.
It's so much higher, Katie. It's 6 versus 7. Oh my god. No, that's great. But obviously we'll not be deleting the line on this one because you've already gotten My Moon Is Following Us. But coming in at my number 6, we've got Petrol Head. So Petrol Head only had 3 issues come out this year, issues 3 through 5, which is why, despite this being one of my absolute favorite series, it kind of got capped at number 6. It's so freaking good. These were the 3 back end issues, which was like a really lot of tension ramping up. Obviously, we got the issue that ranked number 1 on your single issues list.
Yes,
with the death of Dave. Poor Dave.
How dare you? As always.
But yeah, this book has just some of the most phenomenal art. I love some robot boys. I love some cars go around. Like it's just. It's like pedal to the metal, not pun intended.
It's what they would want.
Yeah.
Which it also has a lot of heart. Check out an interview
Yeah.
with the Petrol Head too.
Yes, you can. Yeah. There's another interview one right there, but it's got so much heart to it. Again, I mentioned it with Bones Dust. I love a good apocalypse book. Post-apocalyptic is a really fun vibe, and this is just a really cool. This is another book that is pretty unique. The way they went about the post-apocalyptic angle here, like, yes, they have the health crisis and air quality and stuff, but we actually learned that maybe that's not as bad as it seems to be. So yeah, I thought this was another very unique one, which when I'm talking about series as a whole, I think the unique factor plays a big part. Yeah, big part. So love Petrol Head, but I'm gonna go to number 5. Oh, I have to do number 5 too, don't I?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'll talk a little bit so you can copy and paste. And I'll peel back the curtain a little bit and say I may have messed up. I thought that only numbers 4 and 5 of Petrol Head came out in 2024. That's an oof on my part. Not to peel back the curtain too much. But we'll let
me double check that I didn't mess up here.
No, I just Googled it
Petrol
and you were correct.
Came out January 10th. Yeah.
You were correct. I gave it a quick Goog to see and realized,
SpaghettiOs.
SpaghettiOs indeed. But do you have your number 5 at the ready?
Yes, I have my number 5 is ready. We are going to be at number 5 putting The Six Fingers. This is interesting that it felt this number because I love this series. It's a phenomenal series, such cool stuff, and it's maybe not unique, but a very unique execution of the typical, like this is an idea that's been done, but it's a very unique execution of it. But the interesting thing about this being number 5 is that, like, if you look at the single issues, I think every single one of the single issues would be like higher rated than a lot of single issues from books above this.
Mhm.
But as a series, this is where it feels for me. I'm like, these are phenomenal issues.
That's so fair.
This is where it's at as a series. It's a great series. I love the Six Fingers. I didn't go. So the whole 5-issue miniseries came out this year, and it's by Dan Waters and Sumit Kumar. It's rad. It's really trippy. But I also, like, compared to the one hand, I liked. I think the characters in this one a little bit more, and I bought into this one more. I'm not going to remember our Six Fingers lad name, but he has Johannes. He has 6 fingers, and he is turning into a serial killer, which is a very fun. It's very fun to get the serial killer's perspective of
It certainly is, and having the detective perspective coming to us from the one hand was super fun as well, which is why I have the one hand and the Six Fingers as my number 5.
That's cheating.
They released the trade as one. I grabbed the image of the trade. Get fucked.
I was thinking about it. I was actually thinking about, like, how that worked. God damn it! We were this close to a line.
It was you and me. You are the Johannes. I am the Ari on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
I think it would be reasonable to put them together as one. So I am putting it together as one. But I understand if putting them together would affect your rating. So we'll leave yours as the pure Six Fingers.
I thought about it, and I was like, I'm not going to put them together. I want to treat them as their own things. I do think it's fair. I think it's fair because I also had the thought of, like, should I combine them for my thing?
Yeah, so I know that you were far and away a bigger fan of the Six Fingers.
I mean, conceptually, and I guess, like, on a series level, I thought they both really worked, but the Six Fingers was, like, on a week-to-week basis, the issue that I was constantly enjoying more.
Yes,
So, yeah.
I was also... I was much more even on the two of them, so I think it makes sense that mine ended up as one. And I think that the fact that they had that wild setup of the books releasing at the same time was a huge factor in how I felt about the series. So having them together was actually important for me and my rating.
No, that's super fair. That is one of the, like, unique things about the book. Was the like separate series being the same. Yeah.
But that evasive bar down the middle of our rankings remains tormenting us.
And as we get to the top 4, it might have to stay. I feel like it's always more likely we get the lower ones matched up. So it might be. We'll see if maybe the creators can break it. But maybe it'll be broken right now. Katie, give me your number 4.
My number 4. No one is surprised it's here. Is the Pedestrian. Oh, by the way, the Six Fingers was Dan Waters and Sumit Kumar. The one hand was Ramvi and Lawrence Campbell.
And both 5-issue minis came out. The full year. Giving you the
Pedestrian is Joey Esposito and Sean Von Gorman, who have been kind enough to grace our podcast with their presence and let me gush about their book. But I love the Pedestrian. It's the perfect.
Even with the lead-in, she missed it. The full 4-issue miniseries of the Pedestrian came out this year.
Yep, that is accurate. Both that they all 4 came out this year, and that I was thinking about how, oh right, I need to say that, and then missed it. It's because I get too excited to talk about the Pedestrian. This is a known problem for me.
It is. Known by the creators themselves, which is very funny.
And a source of mockery for me. But in any case, I love the Pedestrian. It is the perfect blend of heart and character, and frankly, goofy vibes. It's the type of book where the humor comes from the character taking themselves very seriously and being quite ridiculous inherently. Like, look at him right there. You can see him walking. And he's obeying traffic laws, and that's so fucking funny. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It was an absolute riot to read. I love the Pedestrian. So it is number 4.
Yeah. That's a solid number 4 there.
What is your number 4?
My number 4 is Void Rivals.
Nice.
it did not crack. None of the single issues cracked the single issue list, but there were several that were closed. And this had 9 issues come out this year. We picked up, and that was with a gap at the beginning of the year because it was letting the other Energon books pick up, catch up to it. But issues 7 through 15 came out this year. 9 full issues, which really helped this book because it was just consistently good. And then there were issues that were great to fantastic. And so 9 issues of that, a lot of story moving forward. The building of these awesome villains that I love so much. Further development of our main characters to the point that they literally split up and then come back. They actually haven't come back together yet, but they split up. They were together. What I was trying to say is they start this year together and then they split up. So we get issues both with them together and split up in this year. We just get a ton of different stuff in this series this year. We get
it's a really great series.
A lot of stuff. And Lorenzo De Felici's artwork is beautiful and gorgeous all the way throughout. Kirkman's character writing is top tier. I mean, freaking Handroid is, I think, like better characterized than 75% of comic book characters in general. Like, Kirkman is just a master of characterization, and every single character in this book, I constantly know exactly how I feel about them, what I want for them, what their goals are, what my goals are for them, which isn't always what they want. Like, it's just really, really great. And it's a piece of a larger universe, which is cool. Sometimes, you know, that stuff throws it off. But honestly, the integration, especially recently, of the Transformers has actually been pretty cool. I like
it's been quite smooth. They've smoothed it out quite a bit. I will say, the Salila and Handroid team up is some of the like funniest shit that's been coming out of comics this year. It's
and
so
Derek
good.
having to get his like secondary Handroid, replacement Handroid for his mission.
So good. Wood Rivals, so fun.
Void Rivals, good.
But now it's time for our honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, I was grabbing my number 3 there, but you are correct. It's actually going to be honorable mentions.
All right, I have 3 honorable mentions.
I have 2.
So I'll start us off then.
Yeah.
Oops, I put Petrol Head. I totally flubbed it. I was like, okay, with only issues 4 and 5 coming out this year, and I was like, it's just not quite enough of it to let me through. So Rob and Paya, I'm so sorry.
I felt bad not having them on the single issues list, and now I feel like it's the reverse because I got all mine here and you didn't get.
Yeah, they were literally my number 1 single issue this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
which by the way came out was well, obviously came out this year if it was the single issue of the year. But yeah, that was one of the 3 that came out this year.
Oops, mommy. What honorable mention do you have, Jay?
Yeah, we're gonna start off with. I'm just getting the everything ready. Okay, here we're gonna start off with The Displaced. The whole 5-issue miniseries came out this year by Ed Brisson and Luca Casalagaido. It was a series that I was like shocked by how much I enjoyed. I think it was your pick. You brought up doing it, and I was shocked by how much I ended up enjoying this series. It again, a ridiculously unique concept. Like that is something that really, really goes a long way with me with series. Such a cool, unique concept, and then it was just executed so freaking well. The ending of this book was heavy, I'll say, and wild to the point that we don't see one of the main characters in the entire final issue of this series. Like, what an absurd thing to do. But
like, this is a book that said, "Oh, the landscape of comics right now is miniseries. Okay, get fucked up by my miniseries."
Yeah, and this was made to be a miniseries. This was not here's my concept, I have to do it in this many issues. Like this was made to be a mini. But also it is like it's not open for a traditional continuation. Like this story can't be continued, but it is open to tell another one of these stories with the one character bridging over, which I think would be
there is a broader world that can be explored.
And we know that our one character is in that world now.
Exactly.
So it's perfect for the current comic landscape.
Yeah.
Like it is that miniseries that also you could do more in the universe, but it is perfect, like full miniseries there. It really pained me to leave this off, but it it didn't quite get on there.
Yeah, I think it's really telling for me that a lot of the stuff that I included on here is stuff that fits like the mold of the current landscape, where it's like, okay, we get a really good story that does get an end. Like some of them speculating that a good end is coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really helps when your book is just that good.
Yeah.
But my second honorable mention
give it to us.
is For the Hunger in the Dusk. So part of the reason that The Hunger in the Dusk is funky is because of the way it was released this year. So instead of doing an ongoing series, they did The Hunger in the Dusk book 2 or part 2. And so issues 5 and 6 of the first book came out this year, and then issues 1 through 3 of The Hunger in the Dusk book 2 came out. And I think that it was, and there were a lot of delays and stuff that really made the reading experience of the book not quite get there. But it's still a really phenomenal series with gorgeous artwork. It's Christian Wildgoose and G. Willow Wilson teaming up on this, and it's really, really great, just not quite able to break that top 10.
Yeah, no, I mean that I think you kind of hit the nail on the head for some of the difficulties there, but it is a great series. With Christian Wildgoose's artwork is consistently just top tier, and G. Willow Wilson is a great character writer, and these characters in the world is so cool. Like, again, pretty unique stuff. Like, we get the like reversal of like typical orcs and humans and their characterizations, which is really, really fun. But yeah. It's a cool...
The Hunger in the Dusk is real good. What is your other honorable mention?
My other honorable mention, something that I think we might see later on this list from somebody else. My other honorable mention is Zorro, Man of the Dead. This was one
I don't
that
know
hurt
who you could possibly be talking about.
This was one that hurt to leave off. This is, of course, a 4-issue mini from Sean Gordon Murphy, but this was just a phenomenal series, top to bottom. Every issue was great. The conclusion was really, really good. It ended up being, just a game of edges, and this book had a few more things that I think bothered me than a lot of the other issues on this list. Like, what's Zorro's sister's name again?
Rosa.
Her girlfriend isn't a character. She's just kind of there for a bunch of it. We get the one character who has this great sacrifice. We don't really get his arc building until literally the final issue, which is a little bit rough. Like, all the moments are phenomenal. It's very well written and very well illustrated, and it's a great book. But a game around the edges, a few of the things, I think this is a 4-issue mini that I think actually needed a little bit more room. Like, I think this would benefited from being the 5 or 6.
You hear that, Sean Gordon Murphy? Make more Zorro.
Yeah, make more Zorro. I would love more Zorro. This was still a phenomenal series, and it was great, and a book from Massive on publisher that doesn't
exactly. My last honorable mention is truly, I think, a true honorable mention, because it's a little bit cheesy. I couldn't put it on my list because of the weird way that we reviewed it. It is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. So
I didn't think about that. I should have thought about that, but I didn't think about it because of the way that we reviewed it.
So I was reading it when it was coming out. Like, I caught up on issue 2 or 3 or something, and then was reading it as it came out, and it was really, really phenomenal. But then Jay wasn't reading it, so we didn't read it for regular reviewing on the podcast. But we did do a Strange Saturday Super Show with it, so we did review it on the podcast in its totality. But yeah, all 6 issues of this did come out. 5 of the 6 issues did come out in 4 of the 5. No,
4 of the 6.
Numbers
issues
2
1
through
and
6.
2 were both. What? Issues 3 through 6. Issue 2 came out December 13th, 2023.
Well, fuck me. In any case.
I just Googled it. I was like, this came out in 2024? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. In any case, it's Patrick Horvath, who's the writer-artist on it. And it's really, really wonderful. We had a good time reading it. So go ahead and check out that Strange Saturday Super Show to get the true script heroes review on Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees.
No, great. I didn't realize any of it came out this year.
Yeah,
so that's my bad. I felt like I had heard you talking about it for longer. So like in my brain, I just put it as like, oh, this probably came out a few years ago. So the sequel series is actually coming pretty fast then.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very, very cool. Yeah, I was not expecting that on the list because I simply did not know it came out this year.
Yeah, I figured with the way that we reviewed it, I couldn't, in good conscience, put it actually on the list.
Yeah. So is that bearing the lead that your absolute none of the Absolute Universe books that are going to be on your list? Okay. Never mind.
Anyway.
Never mind. Okay.
I would have
felt the same.
So I believe you are giving us your number 3 now.
I am. You said Patrick Horvath's name, right? I just wanted to.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So, jumping to number 3. We're once again not going to be able to match up because I'm going to go with a book that you have already mentioned. This is where Heartpiercer is ranking.
I knew it was going to be on here.
My list. Absolutely love Heartpiercer by Rich Drake and Gavin Smith. The entire 4-issue mini came out this year. Again, Katie talked about it, so I don't want to go too crazy, but this is a phenomenal series. I talked issue 4 is my number 1 issue of the year. The conclusion of this series is perfect, which is why it's so high, because it's just a beautiful conclusion of the series. The action in this, Gavin Smith draws action like few others. It's phenomenal. Rich Drake has built out a really great world here with a lot of really cool stuff going on, and it's got for a book called Heartpiercer, it's got a lot of heart to it. And I love this series. I'm really hoping for volume 2 as soon as possible. This book is just phenomenal all the way around, and it's such a me book too. I love a dark fantasy type book. So
yeah, no, so good. Obviously, made both of our lists again. My number 3, I think this is going to be our final, the final nail in the coffin, because I was thinking there might be one more chance for us to have crossover on our lists, but since it was not your number 3, I do think we're out of time. My number 3 is Rook Exodus.
Yeah, I knew you said that.
Rook Exodus is so freaking good. Jason Fabok and Jeff Johns really in just top form here, and to see 2 iconic creators in their top form is bonkers. It's really wonderful. The world building, the character writing, and God fucking damn it, the art.
Oh my god, yes.
This is another one that has a huge a flag planted on it as a unique book. This is something that feels like it is meant to be told as a comic book, which is always a plus for me. It's really stupendous. It's so cool. And I'm not normally someone who's like a big action figure guy, but I'm like, no, I really want
these. I want busts or masks of some of these, like for my like I have like a Shredder bust on my not my nightstand, on my dresser right now.
Yeah.
I would love to have a Rook Exodus bust next to that. Like I think that would be awesome. Specifically of Swine. I want one of Swine.
Justice for Swine.
Justice for Swine.
Which never mind. Justice for Swine did happen.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. But that takes us to our number 2 book.
Yeah, hit us with number 2 here, Katie. I don't think we're gonna have overlap at this point.
I am positive we won't, because we've already heard about this book from you. This is Zorro. Yeah, from your honorable mention.
There you go.
God damn it, I love Zorro. God damn it, Sean Gordon Murphy, you absolute amazing boy. I love this book so much. The art, the energy, the week to week or the month to month experience of reading it. Every single time we read this book, I'm like, 9.5 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was a real high rating one there.
Yeah, it's a book that I was so anticipatory every single week. It didn't matter if we read it the week before or a month before. I was like, is there a new Zorro this week? Is there a new Zorro this week? Every single time, because I just constantly wanted more of it. And still do. So again, Sean Gordon Murphy, please make more Zorro.
Yeah, and the whole 4-issue mini came out
Yes,
Or
which
is
I
it
think
five
you
issue?
mentioned
No,
in
4
the
issue. Yeah. I did mention it.
4 issue.
Mine. Yeah, 4 issue.
All right, Jay, you're number 2.
My number 2, coming as a surprise, maybe I think to nobody, is going to be Drawing Blood. So we had 6 issues of this book come out this year, issues 1 through 6. It is continuing very excitingly. But this is from David Avallone, Kevin Eastman, Troy Little, and the man, the myth, the legend, Ben Bishop.
I love that you say that about Ben Bishop and not Kevin Eastman.
Not Kevin Eastman, yeah, no. Kevin Eastman's like, I feel like I don't have to put it on Kevin Eastman. Like everybody knows Kevin Eastman is a legend. Ben Bishop might still be flying under. I say might still be flying under the radar. Like like Last Ronin is like consistently the best selling collected comic every single month. In any case, this series is awesome. I had already read the first 4 issues because they had been kickstarted, but we got 2 new issues this year, which was phenomenal and exciting, and it was great getting to read them again, but like in a monthly format because we were reviewing them on the pod. Like it's a new experience for the book, and it's a very cool experience for the book, I feel like, and it's got so many great elements to it. One, it has Kevin Eastman pages in it. They're few and far between, but I talk about it every time we read it. It is crazy what Kevin Eastman can accomplish in 1 or 2 pages. Like he is truly, I talk about Ben Bishop, who's the main artist on the series and is phenomenal. But Kevin Eastman is truly a legend of the business for good reason. Like he can do so much. And then we also get all this great satire of, like, as a Turtles fan, of these great real world Turtles fans. David Avallone actually responded to the post about issue 4, saying that one of the first conversations they had was David Avallone telling Kevin Eastman they had to parody the aliens thing. And I was like, yes, this is accurate. You did. Like, it was the perfect thing to do. David Avallone was a perfect writer to bring in for this. He really seems to understand, like the Turtles fandom and all of that stuff. And Troy Little is such a perfect artist to do the ragdoll stuff. I love this book. I don't want to keep rambling. This series. I was
going to say, as always, Jay cannot help himself when Drawing Blood comes up. This man is a constant font of fun facts and excitement for this book, and it's very delightful and refreshing and just nice.
But we're gonna go to number 1 here. Yeah. My number 1, as I'm sure you can guess it now, Katie, based on everything. Yeah. My number 1 is Rook Exodus.
It's so good.
It's so freaking good. 6 issues of this. The first 6 issues, the entire first volume, came out this year from Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok. Jeff Johns is one of my all-time favorite comic book writers. But I really hadn't been enjoying what he had been doing at DC for the past, like, significant amount of time. And it was to the point that, like, before we picked up that Ghost Machine one-shot, which we basically did because we had, like, a big week where we didn't have stuff, I wasn't really all that excited for Ghost Machine because it was like Jeff Johns is writing, like, all of these books, and he just hasn't been my cup of tea recently. And then we got that Rook Exodus preview, and then the Rook Exodus series, and I was like, oh no, this is the Green Lantern Jeff Johns that I absolutely loved for so long. And Jason Fabok is just a phenomenal artist. I think I talked about it with Katie way back when 3 Jokers came out, where I was like, this book isn't my cup of tea, but goddamn, Jason Fabok drawing the Batman characters is sick. And he basically draws Batman characters in this book anyway. Like half the characters are just like Red Hood doing stuff. And it's great. It's great. But yeah, the art in this is phenomenal. This is like a really tight 6 issues where every single issue is great. It's a series that's continuing, but we got a full arc that was phenomenal and great top to bottom. So I think this was very easy. I knew Rook Exodus was going to be number 1, and then it was kind of, well, Drawing Blood was there. Drawing Blood and Rook Exodus were a very easy top 2, and then I was filling in from there. But I love Rook Exodus, and I'm going to let Katie talk about her number 1 now.
Yeah, I too had a pretty easy top 2. I was like, what are the books that I have just been absolutely dying over this year? And I mean, number 1, no surprise if you've been listening to the pod, Ain't No Grave. Hot damn. I love Ain't No Grave so much. It's a book where every single time I read it or look at it, I feel inspired to write, which is so exciting for me. It's like really great for a book for me because I'm like, oh god, this is what I wish that I could do. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, thank you, Jay. It had 5 issues that came out in 2024. That's the entirety of the miniseries, and it's coming to us from Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. It's so good. when we talk about books that are right up our alley, this book is.
This is what we've learned Katie's alley is through the podcast.
Yes. Yeah. We've learned as we've gone on. I'm like, oh my god, do I love westerns? And then
evidently the answer is yes.
Yeah. Every time we read a western before this, I was like, oh my god, do I love westerns? Oh my god, do I love westerns? And I was like, oh yeah, I love westerns, and this book is phenomenal. This made me accept that about myself. With bold pride.
This book made Katie come out as a western fan.
Yes, yeah. And specifically fucking comic book westerns. They're so good. Oh my god. Yeah, I absolutely love this series. Jorge Corona's art is so stupendous. Issue 1 of this book is one of the most like beautiful things that I have read. It takes so much time to just give you the environment and that like sense of time as Ryder begins her journey. And then the issue of it that cracked my top 10 is issue 3, which is that casino issue, which is such great character work. The way that they dealt with flashbacks to inform the present, and like the character study on Ryder through those is so great. Because I feel like sometimes with this type of thing, it's like, oh, bad that we have our hard as nails character, and back in the day they were a sweet innocent girl. Isn't it sad how the like innocence is taken? But this, it's like, oh no, Ryder had no fucking chance. She's always been this way, and it makes the absolute buck wild journey that she goes on make so much sense. It's like, yeah, there was no other choice for her. This is who she is. I love it so much.
It's like a true traditional tragedy where, like, in the true sense of the word, where like her fault is the like thing that leads her.
I'm going to cry thinking about it.
Yeah, and she just kind of wastes her own time with her family. I mean, funnily enough, is like the book's telling you that's what's going to happen in issue 1, and you're like expecting something to change, and it kind of just doesn't.
Yeah,
it's deeply tragic.
It is. God, it's gorgeous. But that is our top 10 series of 2024.
That's our top 10 of 2024, baby. Those are the top 10 books in 2024 from series. Each of us. Gonna scroll back through quickly so that you guys can, look if you want.
We've also been posting a recap of these videos on Blue Sky and Twitter. So if you miss something or want to find the socials of these people, you can either go to the episodes where we reviewed these things, or you can follow us on Blue Sky or Twitter, and eventually that info will come out for you.
Yeah, slowly trickle out. We literally, like, this morning is where finally the number 1 issues were posted from last week's video. I try to spread out throughout the week, posting 10, then our 9s, then our 8s, then our 7s, as we go, so that hopefully, things are spoiled slowly if somebody wants to jump on and watch the full video. But yeah, that was our top 10 series of 2024. Once again, I'm going to tell you guys about what we have coming up in terms of the top 10s of 2024. We got 2 weekends left of January, which means 2 more videos. Next weekend, we're going to be talking about our top 10 writers of 2024, baby.
Oh, these are going to get so hard.
I think this is going to be the toughest because we are writers, like there's a different thing with the artist, which by the way, week 4 will be the artist, and that's going to be mightily tough as well. But like there's a thing when you are a writer and you're like looking at writers, it's like it feels like a deeply personal thing, like I'm gonna feel bad slighting any writers I really like by not putting them in the top 10 because of that thing there. But I'm very, very excited to do the top 10 writers, and then we will be rounding off the I was gonna say the year, rounding off the month with those top artists, because it's an art driven medium, so they get to be our great final conclusion. But yeah, Katie, do you want to tell people our non 2024 top videos that have happened?
So keep an eye out. Every Wednesday we have our regularly scheduled programming where we go through, review our books for the week. Be sure to be tuning in for those, so you can.
We're reviewing this Wednesday.
Can I?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, give me a sec. Living Hell #2. I know that's finally coming back.
Okay, sick.
Love.
The Devils one, Lucky Devils.
Yes, we're doing the first issue of Lucky Devils. I actually got an ash can of that back at New York Comic Con.
Tell us a little bit more about that while I pull up the list.
Oh yeah, I got an ash can. Did I read the Ashcan? No, I did read the Bug Wars Ashcan though. That was fun. That was in the same panel. I did not.
It's a big week. Okay,
Right,
so
yeah.
Lucky Devils #1, Living Hell #2, Batman Dark Patterns #2, Mutant Nation #3, Daredevil Unleash Hell #1, and Batman and Robin #17.
Yeah.
6 book week.
Interestingly, looking upon that Daredevil one, we were gonna do what we typically do with the one red label and one non-red label. I think that book's only red label, which is the first time I've heard of that happening with. Actually, no, I think they're like Werewolf by Night was also only red label, but like it's rare they do only a red label. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Daredevil book is only red label. Interesting.
Well, saucy.
Enough.
But also be sure to follow follow along to those main issue episodes, because then next year when we're doing our top 10, you'll have context for every single book we talk about.
That's right.
But also just follow the channel in general. We are going to have already put out our third installment of the Absolute Universe Fantasy Football bracket we've done.
Right, literally 2 days ago. Right? It's
on Friday. But also follow our gaming channel. We have a gaming channel, Script Heroes Gaming, here on YouTube, and Script Heroes over on Twitch. Jay and I every Saturday have been streaming Marvel Rivals.
11 Eastern.
Yeah, that's right. We've been getting better, I think.
Yes, getting good would be incorrect, but I think we've gotten better.
Yeah,
probably.
which you would hope would happen. Yeah, we've been doing ranked
but
streams.
the Fantastic Four is in the game now, so that's
and Jay is absolutely killing it as Reed, and
Reed's a lot of fun. Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out Sue. I'm just mad that I yet again prefer the healing characters.
Yeah.
Like, let me be a tank.
This is the first non-tank character that I've like really enjoyed, so it's fun to have a DPS in my arsenal. But
that is going to be until they nerf him, which will be a bummer.
Yeah.
But yeah, those streams happen every Saturday.
Yes.
The VODs are
we've got
up
a back
on
catalog now of like 4 or 5 on the YouTube channel. You can always watch the last month's worth on Twitch before they do their auto clearing. I'm going to start uploading Katie's Twitch streams to the YouTube channel as well, so they are archived there. But I need to remember to do that. And will I ever remember?
Right.
Who knows? But in any case, I think that's everything. Hopefully you enjoyed our top 10 series. Why don't you comment down below your favorite series of 2020?
Please.
I wanted to ask you all to do that in the single issues one, and I forgot. But I remembered at the last second this time. So if you made it to the end of the video and you want to prove that you were here the whole way through, that's how you comment your favorite series of 2024.
And to prove that you were here the whole time, you can give us an honorable mention too.
Yeah. Absolutely. But in any case, as always, we hope to see you next week. Comic Geeks.